I think. There we go.
We
Boom.
live.
Welcome back, everybody. Another Tuesday night chat with the Muskrat, Mr. Creole Catfishing. Tonight we are joined by none other than Mr. Ray Ferguson. What's up, Ray?
How are you doing?
We are dodging some storms. So most of you guys, I'm sure you haven't turned on a Facebook or a radio or a television today and not heard about the crazy storms moving across the country. They are right bearing on top of me right now. So we're under tornado watches and warnings. Everybody around me's sending me messages that they've seen tornadoes within the 20, 30 miles of here. So
Wow.
my sirens go off. This guy's out. I'm going to go tuck my head between my legs and kiss my butt goodbye, as I was told earlier.
I don't know who would have the nerve to tell you that. I have no idea.
So, no, first of all, seriously, I want to say if, those of you that have been impacted or have friends and family impacted by the storms, prayers going out to you guys. Yep. And if you are anywhere near and you need some help, reach out and we'll try to get whatever we can put together for you. I know Mike Greenwell earlier, the tornadoes just basically skimmed right over him.
Oh, wow.
He had some damage around him, but not him specifically. So it's bad out there. It's gonna get worse. So everyone just kind of keep everybody in your thoughts and prayers. I'm sure that we'll be missing some folks tonight that are closely watching the radars and the Ryan Hall and all that good stuff. So, but we're going to continue on tonight and do our very best to bring in some quality information and talk about the wonderful world of catfish and say a prayer for Ripley. West Union area confirmed tornado on the ground right now. I'm getting video updates from several River Rat members. Let me hop over here, get my Facebook side going so I can see just who all we got.
I can see some of the Facebook names. Got a couple of them.
And we'll say some hellos real quick, and then we'll get kicked off and get started. Let me get. All right, that's muted. All right, that was William Matthews saying say a prayer for Ripley. So thanks, brother, for tuning in. We got Bob Denon also over on Facebook. What's up, Bob? Thanks for tuning in. He says, "Hello, Ray Ferguson, the man, the myth, the legend."
How you doing, Bob?
I think Bob's making himself a living legend with what he's been doing with the King Cat series, man.
Right.
I know we were talking a little bit before the show started, but just watching the growth of what they've been doing with that, with the onboard, online camera stuff, just the forward thinking of what's been going on over there is just really awesome. Seeing the quality of production that's going into these videos that they're putting out, and of course being on cable television now, and hopefully we start getting the sponsors and recognition that the sport deserves and needs to excel. So just refreshing to see how that's been going. Before we get rock and roll too far, we'll take a quick hello to everybody. I see Big Wrench is in the house. Stonefly 71's out here with us. Curtis Cunningham. There's Mike Greenwell. You got your brother Andrew D in the house. Josh Parham's in the house. 922 Crappie Barbecue. What's going on, big guy? Brian B. Catfishing. What's up, brother? Benoit Fishing. Hope you guys are staying safe. Buckeye Catfishing. Same with you, brother. Hope all is well. Got Dustin Clark. Dale Hayslip. Let's see who else we got.
We got Lance McCougar in the house. John Boy's Catfishing. Bugman 22. What's going on? Mr. Jeff Deal. We were just talking about Mr. Bob Denton. There he is himself. We got Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights. What's happening? Crappie Day Fish on. My tournament partner now, Mr. Jerry Parker. What's happening, brother? Good to see you.
That's a dangerous duo right there.
I know. And the fish aren't in danger, though. Trust me. Just us.
There's Skip Stewart, Clearview Outdoors. Skip dropped a great video this week. His new PB flathead we caught last week, 53 pounds. Dropped it right in his mouth. Man, that was awesome.
I like it. Let's see. We got Eddie with the River Junkies in the house. We got everybody's favorite, Miss D. What's going on, D? Good to have you in the house. At Greg Burgess, one of my Louisiana brothers. We got Mr. Kelly Bullock in the house. Pontoon Jody's here with us. What's going on, Jody? Let's see.
The
we got
boss.
Mama in the house. That's the boss. That's the boss. Beware. I'm sure
she's watching here and in there.
Yeah, she's watching both sides. Butterflies and sunshine in the house. Let's see. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Nubby's Catfishing.
That's it. Pontoon Joe. Harold channel member there.
In the house. Mr. Thomas Wilkins in the house. What's going on, JG? Good to have you, brother. Let's see. Mr.
Lynn Leeper in here as well. I believe he was in like early. Looking forward to the show, talking about recalling our conversations back at CatCon. He stayed up with us. I don't know, Ray. We stayed up to like 2:00 in the morning or later, talking catfishing and just talking.
See, we got David Smith in the house. Big Bill's veteran catfishing. What's happening?
Murillo.
Oh, let's see. Coming on down the list, got Wabash Nate's in the house. Mr. Murillo. What's up, Agent Murillo?
Mr. Murillo wants to know if Ray fishes as good as he can run a grill.
Oh,
we try.
Nice.
That salmon was good, man. I was impressed.
That my boy was. Hey, he wouldn't let me down. None. He stayed right there with me. I seen him. He didn't have any help at first, and I was like, man, I'm gonna kind of sit back and watch. And me and him hit it off.
Yeah,
there you go.
So we were keeping everybody fed.
Yeah, that's definitely good time.
Because cat fishermen love to eat. We all know that.
Yeah, we got to have a reserve.
Right. We need
Sue? Danny Stone.
What's up, Danny?
We may or may not have made it to the end. We may or may not have missed a couple.
Every time I think I get to the end, it jumps on me. So
yeah. But Stan 3's in the house. What's up, brother?
What's up, Stan 3?
All right, Ray. I doubt this is possible, but if there's anybody in chat that doesn't know who you are, if you don't mind, just kind of give a quick introduction of who you are, where you're from, what you like to fish for, and all that good stuff. And then we'll talk about what all that stuff is surrounding you.
Yes.
Well, I'm Ray Ferguson. I was born in Augusta, Georgia, and I moved to Knoxville, Tennessee in my 20s, late 20s, and I've been here ever since. And I was catfishing at Santee Cooper when I was probably 4 years old. And my whole family did nothing but catfish. And basically, I just carried on the tradition. And I took it to a different level, tournament fishing versus just going out and fun fishing.
Right. Absolutely. So, one of the things that I like most about watching you fish is fishing with your family. And so tell everybody who your fishing partners are there in the house.
Well, I fish with Melissa, obviously, and Niall. We all fish together. I've even had a couple of tournament trails change some rules so that they allowed us to fish, where we could fish to 4 people.
Oh,
because there's more of us. There's more people that have, 2 kids and stuff like that. And and it's hard to pick between one kid if it's not fair.
Right.
So, that's the way they look at it. And one particular tournament trail doesn't care how many kids you bring. Just bring all the kids you want.
They're
good. And that's what's really cool. We're not making any money doing this stuff. What we can do is change lives, though. That's kind of what happened to me as a little kid. My life got changed when I caught the first fish, and I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah, it definitely makes a big difference when you grow up around that kind of stuff. Myself, I didn't really. My dad took me fishing. I don't know, a couple dozen times, maybe my entire childhood, but it was enough to stick, and that's all I've wanted to do since then. But watching.
All it takes is once.
Yeah.
One time. That's all it takes is once.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys end up going out as tournament partners. I've seen videos of you and Niall out there just hamming it out and having a good time, and it cracks me up, man. And you're fishing in big tournaments with big money, big points on the line, and you've got your son out there, just you and him, and that's how much it means to you to just keep it simple and have fun.
Oh yeah,
And,
he's the reason why he's got to go back to school. He's got to go to school this year. So this is his last year. So I said, well, me and him can fish this year, because after that, it's, we're not going to be able to do it.
Right.
They don't fix around your school schedule. So
oh yeah,
I'm kind of getting hooked. So, but we're having fun, man. It's pretty cool. It's cool for him to wake up. He'll tell me to wake him up at 3:00 in the morning so we can go fishing. What 5-year-old does that?
I know. Yeah,
Before he goes to bed at night, he'll say, "Let's get up at 2."
I should have watched that early.
So let's talk a little bit about what's going on around you. You've got a lot of king cat titles and a couple belts hanging on the wall, and those are all just from this year so far, and this is only April.
Yes, well, we've got the 2023 Signature Series. That was one of their first things one of the things they created, so that what they done is they took an elite group of people, and they wanted to kind of showcase this. And the best of the best, there was some heavy hitters in this group, and it would stay down to the line. And that was me, Donnie, and Lonnie. We were lucky enough to win that. And then they go to the Sweet 16. And the Sweet 16 is they take the top 16 travelers and put them together, and we fish a bracket just like basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You get teamed up with 2 people, and you fish off, and then you get down to the final 4, and then the final 4 fish off for the last day.
Yeah,
and that particular tournament is more than just a tournament. You have to do a lot of strategy on that deal. You got to do a lot of thinking and trying to fish against. You got to fish against the caliber of people. And there's sometimes you get caught swinging for the fences and you make it. But that's a very enjoyable tournament. We got the Watts Bar tournament. We got Big Fish in second. We got Pickwick. We got third. Kentucky Lake. We got second Big Fish, and I think we ended up second there. We've done pretty good this year.
Yeah, I could.
And we've got my belts. So I won the world championship in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And to give a little history, around 2013, I just quit tournament fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I had a partner. His name was Snuffy Smith, is what we called him, and it was James Smith, is what his real name was, but everybody knows him by Snuffy. And well, he passed away, and around 13, I just quit fishing. And me and Donnie Lonnie have been friends for years and competitors, and he called me up. I think it was 21. He called me up around 21 and said, "Hey, you need to start fishing with me." And we started fishing together. And then in 22, Lonnie, his brother, started fishing. We all 3 started fishing together. And history has it, we just took off, and it took us about a year to start gelling. And once we got our act together, we started performing. And I mean, act together, there's a lot of stuff that happens, from your hooks to your rods to the line that you use. Everything's got to be perfect in these tournaments. You cannot have a hiccup.
Right.
And that was the learning curve to get everybody that was comfortable with whatever hook you was using to whatever. You can't bring 4 poles of mine and put on a tournament boat and fish with another guy's 3 different poles. And that's kind of what we were doing. We was kind of just playing around. And then I said one day, I was like, "Listen, we need to get all the same rods."
Yeah.
And it went from there, and it all changed. Yeah. Then we started using everything identical.
Yeah, that's one of the things we picked up. We talked to Donnie and Lonnie at the CatCon, and that's one of the things that they mentioned was they started going with all the same rod, no matter what rod they reel down on or what rod's pulling out a planer board. They all look exactly the same because they're all exactly the same action, same line, same everything. So if something's off, then something's going on. It's easy to identify. And that really kind of sunk in with me because I run. Well, unfortunately, right now I'm starting over from scratch. I got robbed and lost everything. So I've got a smorgasbord of rods and reels going together. But I do see the importance and the value of having all the same, action or same gear. Because I notice that when I run boards, like I don't care. I've said this to a lot of different people. Like I don't care what board you use. There's lots of great ones out there, but use all the same board, no matter what it is. Run 3 or 4 of the same board because when you swap them out, when you get a fish on that middle board and you rotate the rest out, if they're pulling different, it messes everything up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But
that's the key. It's all got to be the same.
Yeah.
Yep. And I didn't truly appreciate that either until, the past about 6 months. I finally have all identical setups. And now I see what everybody's talking about with having the same rods. I don't have to say, oh, wait a minute, that's the soft rod, or no, wait, that's the stiff rod. They all act identical, and it does mean a lot.
Well, I mean, take it like this. You got a flathead that's biting, and you've got it on a light rod.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's gonna pull it over, but how far are you gonna let him pull it over versus if he was on a heavy rod?
Right.
He's got to pull it off about 2 eyes in the water to get the hook set on a light, and then you got to, you just start. If he just starts bending it, you can get him. So it's just everything is. You got to be very, man. I'm telling you, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yep.
Yeah, they was trying to sell us on the Anvil the extra heavy rods there at CatCon. It's like I don't think we need extra heavies here on the Ohio, but
well, that's what I use on the Ohio. But what I'm doing is you'll suspend. If I'm suspend fishing, that's what I use my extra heavies for, is suspended.
Yeah.
Because I'll put 8-10 ounces on there and go at it. So, but it's just whatever you use, just use the same thing every time, and you know what's happening.
Yeah, exactly how everything behaves.
What's funny is if you ever look at my boat, I'm liable to have 20 or 30 rods. And the reason why, and I hate this, man, I just truly hate it. I hate going somewhere where I can anchor, and then I hate somewhere where I can suspend and drag, because I got to have it all. I've got to have my suspended stuff ready to go. So I got to have 10 rods for suspending, 10 rods for anchoring, and 10 rods for dragging.
Wow.
Because I don't use an extra heavy to drag. I use a medium to medium light, because I want that rod to be able to kind of lay over. And the more it lays over, the less chances you're going to get to hung. If it's real stiff, you get it hung up a lot more dragging.
And you get, in my opinion, you got a lot more natural presentation from the bait, not just jerking across the bottom.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yep. That's it. It's all in the however you present that to that fish is what it's gonna, and it takes different rods to do everything. And that's why I hate it. I hate going places. I want to catch them anchored is what I'd like to do. So I ain't got to worry about suspending and carrying all these bunch of rods. And then you got to throw bumping in on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
forget about bumping. We can't forget about that.
No, because you could go to a lake on the Tennessee and they could have floodgates open. Man, you got to go bumping.
Yep.
So I mean, dang. And, you might be suspending. You might be dragging. You never know.
Yeah.
So
I love how you said you got to go bumping.
You got to. I mean,
I love that.
Yeah, I picked up a lot of different bumping rods at CatCon. Like I said, I started from scratch, and I ended up going with an Anvil bumping rod. I haven't got to use it yet, other than just playing around. But
did you get the full handle or the partial?
I did the partial.
All right.
I know a lot of people said they should have did the full handle for the putting in the rod holder and stuff. But I never put my bumping rod in the rod holder except to land a fish. That's it.
Do you fish anybody else? You fish by yourself?
No, I fish with. I usually fish with at least one guy.
So what are you going to do when I got an 80 on and I need you to net him? Where are you going to put your rod?
I'm gonna put it in a rod holder, but it ain't going anywhere.
I know when that other 80 gets on yours and tears it all to pieces, it's happened. We've been bumping along. We've been bumping along and had to stick a rod in the rod holder, and a 50-pounder busted the rod. And I reached out and grabbed it in midair.
Oh, wow.
And reeled the fish in.
Okay.
And we ended up, that was on the Mississippi River Monsters, and I think we ended up third. So it happens. That's why it was my idea to put that full handle on there.
Ah, I got
just
you.
for that reason.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know what caused me to choose the split. I don't remember what my reasoning was. Maybe it just looked cool. I don't know.
Maybe that's what a lot of people think. It's more sensitivity, but it ain't. But another thing you can do with that suspended rod that people don't tell you, I mean, the bumping rod, say if you was running down the river and I've got a fish on, you could reel yours up and suspend it right off the bottom.
Yeah.
And while you're fooling around trying to get the fish in, you'll catch one on that other pole.
Yeah.
Just that easy.
Yeah,
so,
we've done that.
Yeah.
Cool Cats wants to know what's your thoughts on your Starling now that you've been using it a few times.
Oh, I love it. It's smoking. I figured out what was wrong. I had it too close to my windshield, so I moved it out on the front of my deck, and it's right now.
Gotcha.
Oh, really?
No problem.
Heck yeah.
And the cool thing is, like, you can use that anywhere. If you got an outlet, you can plug it in and you have internet.
Really?
That is cool.
Yeah. I got it in a little suitcase, a little pelleting case, and it stays closed up. I plug it in, and it works.
That is cool.
Your internet goes out in your house, plug it in, you got it.
No kidding.
Instant.
Huh. That's cool.
You can plug it in the back. You can plug it into your truck as you drive down the road.
No kidding. Huh. I know a lot of us, do the live streaming stuff, and especially now with the birth of the online tournament league, where people are going to be taking more and more serious look at fishing as online tournaments, and a lot of the problem with a lot of folks is their good fishing spots don't have good service. And
why do you think I got Starling? They were smoking me. I was like, dude, I've never fished like this. I've never fished for a signal. And I got the first online tournament I fished was not Twisted Cats, but Brian St. Elma. About 2 years ago, we fished on Wilson. It was Wilson, and you got spotty service there. So I was fishing around for a service, not necessarily for fish. And they smoked me on that one. And then I come out here to this with the online guys, and I fished 2, and they smoked me. I mean, they got me. I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I said, I got to figure out a way to get me a signal. And that's kind of what happened.
What's it roughly cost to set up a Starlink?
I think it's $150, and then you have to pay so much for the thing. It may be $1,000. I may be wrong. $800 to $1,000, and I think you can even pick up some used. Yeah,
Stonefly says it's $600 for the equipment and $120 a month for the service.
There you go. Yeah, but then you got to have a case that's about $200.
Yeah.
So,
Eddie over at River Junkies wants to know what electronics do you use? What do you trust? And if you have any tips
I use Garmin. I use Garmin. It's 8600 series Garmin, 12-inch, 3 of them.
I got you.
And then I got a 22-inch. I just put a 22-inch monitor. There's a new guy out with a 22-inch monitor. I put it on there too, and it connects to your Garmin and it's touchscreen.
A 22? Wow.
Is it a Garmin unit, or is it just a touch screen that will link to Garmin units?
It's a touch screen that links to Garmin units, and I can't think the name of it to save my life, but I just put it on there, and it works. What I like about it is I can see it from my console. I put it on the passenger side, and I can look down and side scan a lot better now than what I was doing.
Oh yeah, 22 inches.
You gotta read that
Yeah,
thing.
you can see it. Yeah, all the bass guys that I've been around, they'll be watching me catfishing, but they're looking at my monitor.
Yeah.
They're over there throwing to the bank, looking at me. I'm like, hey, what are y'all looking at?
There you go. We won't need windshields on boats anymore. We'll just use big monitors.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
right?
get your 222s and put in front of it.
I can see that look in Roger's eye. He's wondering, like, man, do I really need to pay my light bill this month? Like, do I really need electricity?
I'm
that
sitting there
bad?
thinking, it's like, well, if it's not an actual unit, a 22-inch touchscreen may not be that expensive.
$4,000.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
3,500 to 4. You have to shop around, but they so if you wanted a Garmin 22-inch screen, it's almost 14,000, I think.
Gee,
for one of those.
Ooh.
Yeah. So now you see why I got the cheaper one.
Yeah.
Same quality.
Right.
But if you ever sit in a boat, you'd have one, I promise you. You wouldn't pay the light bill, you'd go get one.
Yeah. That's why I can't see stuff like that in person or fish with someone who has it, because I'll be questioning every life decision I've ever made at that point.
Zach just upgraded our 12-inch Humminbird to a 15 Humminbird, and I'm like drooling, literally drooling. Now, Skip is in here. He runs all Garmin, and I've got Garmin, so I've been watching. Like, I'm at that point where I'm ready to upgrade to a big unit, but I just don't know whether to stay with Garmin or bite the bullet and go with Humminbird. I even looked at Lowrance because they're so daggone good.
Well, the Garmin, if you get a 12, it will give you a full display on that 22-inch screen. But you got to have a 12 unit. Anything less than that, you only have partial screen.
Really? Huh.
And the cool thing is that 22-inch monitor will work with any unit. It'll work with a Humminbird or a Lowrance. But the problem is it's really made for Garmin because the touch screen will work. So it just mirrors one of your units.
I got you.
Is all it's really doing. It's only mirroring. Where if you went with a 22 inch from Garmin, it would be, its own unit. It would work everything, but it's just like networked in.
That's good to know.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal. You better believe it.
Yeah, well, like I said, it works. You can use it on anything, but you just won't be able to do the touch screen if you don't have the Garmin.
Right. Does all the other functions on it work? I mean,
anything that you could do on a touch screen, it worked.
So if you had a Solix, it would still work.
It would still work, but you would only be able to operate it from the Solix. You wouldn't be able to operate it from the 22-inch screen.
I got you. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
What about LiveScope? Are you running LiveScope with your Garmin?
Yep, I run 2 of them.
2 of them.
Yeah.
And so how's that playing a factor into your bait fishing and your catfishing?
Well, I don't use it for bait fishing.
Gotcha.
I just use it for catfish.
Okay.
All right. So is that a secret we can go into, or is that something you got?
Yeah, I don't mind. Whatever you want to ask, I'm here.
So basically, more so along the lines of, and we have a show coming up based on this specific title. Spencer Bauer is actually going to be coming on River Certified and talking about this exact topic, but more so specifically about things that we thought we knew about fish that we're learning through LiveScope that we were wrong about, or we never thought in a million years, like, man, I didn't realize they would do that. Mm-hmm. Is there any cool findings that you found so far that's like, man, I had no idea the fish would react that way, or the fish lingered that long before they bit, or
how much time we got?
Oh, we got all the time in the world, brother.
We talk about this all night. So the first thing that I saw with my LiveScope was that I had the fish was probably 50. He was in the 50s. Mm-hmm. He come up and he was on the bottom, and he come up off the bottom, and he looked at my bait. And I was like, he's fixing to eat it. But he just looked at it. And I was like, what's he doing? I mean, he just hung in right behind it. You know, if the bait was here, he hung in right here. All he had to do was open his mouth and he could eat it. Then he backed up and he come up and looked at my lead. And he looked at my lead and swam off.
What? Really?
It was crazy. And this happened, if it's happened once, it's happened a lot. And I hadn't figured that out yet.
I'm imagining that was on a suspended rig.
Yep. It was on a suspended rig. He come up and looked at my lead and left.
Wow.
And you think, like, you're fishing in a river, and you think the fish are positioned like they're just sitting there swimming up the river. Them mugs are swimming in all kinds of circles. They're doing all kinds of stuff. You have no idea. We've had them swim around. I've been suspended, and I had two catfish. One was chasing the other one, and they tangled all our lines up. But I actually watched them tangle all the lines up, fixing each other. One had bit the bait and just swam straight in a circle underneath the boat. I was telling Donnie and Lonnie, I was like, hey, man, there's two under the boat, and they're making laps underneath us. And they're like, what? I said, yeah, they're making laps. They're going around. They're just running around in circles. And they looked over there, and I said, he's on that front pole, and he grabbed it. And when he grabbed it, he had all the lines. Every line, they run around the whole, every one of our lines.
Wow.
And you'd have never knew that happened if you wouldn't have seen it on live scope.
They're just messing with us.
I think so.
We would go up, and I would tell Donnie and Lonnie, because I'm just a graph guy. That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
And we would pull up, and I was like, Donnie, get that fish off the front pole. And he's looking at the live scope, and I was like, no, you need to get that fish. He's got it. He's got it. And it's buried in the water, and he ain't even paying no attention. I was like, y'all got to catch the fish. Don't worry about looking at over here. But it's pretty amazing to see it go down. But it takes a lot of practice.
What mode are you running in normally?
I do it different ways. That's why I use two. I put one on my trolling motor to scout. And the other one, I got a pole, and it's called a sniper pole. And the deal with the sniper pole is you got your traditional pole that sticks out, but the handle you just twist with your fingers. So I could spin that 360 degrees just with my fingertips.
Oh, okay.
I never have to literally move the pole. I just spin the transducer that way.
No kidding, huh?
Big difference. But I'm hunting them down. I'm hunting them down just like bass guys are.
Oh yeah. I've been watching some crazy video footage coming out of different guys that are using live scope and just honestly, I'm more intrigued about catfish behavior.
Right.
Things that we're learning that we didn't know in the past. About fish's behavior. Because once we learn the whys, then we can figure out the rest. But
right.
But yeah, that's one of the things that's been intriguing me. The more videos I watch is just scratching my head about what was it? Micah Burkhart and Spencer Bauer put a video out. They were catching flatheads that were suspended 10 feet off the bottom underneath balls of shad. I was like,
we've been back though. That's old. We just didn't know we was doing. I said that's old stuff. We've been doing that. Larry Muse, Phil King, those guys been doing that for years. They just never told anyone.
Right.
They did. They just kept it secret.
Yeah, that is just amazing to me. What I thought I knew about flatheads and what I really know about flatheads, not so much.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a lot of learning.
Flathead I caught. One of the biggest flatheads I caught, I was dragging.
That's something that doesn't happen often.
No, well, we're going to fish this weekend on the Cumberland River, and these guys are catching the catfish dragging flatheads.
Oh yeah.
So it's out. You just have to try. Nothing wrong, and you got to try. You got to be the first one to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and when I seen live scope, I've been using live scope since it was out.
Oh,
I got you.
So there's a lot of people that's got a lot of catching up to do
oh yeah.
to get onto the live scope scene.
So now that you've learned that they're reacting to your sinkers, are you doing anything different? Are you just trying to figure out what you can do different?
You don't. I've tried several different things, but what's funny is it still works. I think it's just educated fish. And
Really?
it's hard to catch an educated fish. That's my personal opinion. You'd almost have to send it down there natural with no weight, and it's hard to do suspended. I was watching some bass fishing this weekend to kind of pretty much to back up what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
The guy won the tournament, but he was live scoping, and he first started. It was a 3-day tournament. He started off getting short bit bass fishing, and he said these fish is educated. I'm not going to catch them. I got to go somewhere where they're not educated. And that's the key. Is finding the uneducated fish. And that's really going looking. You have to go look for stuff.
So what about
that no one else is fishing?
Have you had to change any other of your tactics or strategies after learnings on live scope? Do you feel like you fish any differently now that you've had live scope and you kind of have more knowledge on fish behavior than what you had previously?
More aggressive. I'm more aggressive.
More aggressive.
Yeah, I don't. I'm turn and burn quick. If if he's going to bite, he's biting it. I'm leaving it. It's over. I don't care how big he is. He ain't going to eat it. So I just hit him in the head with it, and if you don't want it, move on to the next one.
I got you. Skip Clearview is asking if you can run down what mode works best for what application. So Skip's just got live scope on his boat. We actually tried it out last week, and we've been trying to figure out, whether which mode to use for which application.
Make it simple. Okay, so put it on your forward mode.
Yeah.
And use one pole. That's it. You don't need a bunch of poles. You just need one fishing pole. Find the fish and put it in front of him. You can look down, if you were suspending, but you can't do that first. You got to start somewhere. And the way to start is looking forward, find the fish, and work on catching it.
About how far forward can you look doing that?
60 feet.
60 feet.
70 foot, 80 foot, as much as you want. But why you'll understand later why I use 2 is because I'll find him and then I'll hone in on him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the ticket. You really need to make it really effective.
Everybody's scratching their head right.
Start at first with looking ahead and catching him. And it depends on how he's got it. Does he have it on his trolling motor?
This one here, he's actually got it mounted like a universal mount. He's got it all set up on its own power. He can move it anywhere he wants, but it's got a pole that mounts to the side of the boat.
That's what you want. Well, and like I said, he just needs to run around with his trolling motor, find the fish, and catch him. He can't miss him. He's huge. Watch a lot of the bass videos of the guys catching bass. Same thing.
So you locating the fish with side scan first, or you just going to an area you feel is no?
No.
You just going to an area you feel is going to be holding the fish, and you hunt for them.
Find them and catch them.
Wow.
Don't play around with it.
That's a whole different ball game, man.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You better believe
You
it.
either hit it, you either can get them or you can't. You got to get them to bite, and that's the whole deal.
Yeah.
You just run around there chasing them.
So going back to fishing with Donnie and Lonnie, are these the tactics you guys are using, in tournament series? Because it doesn't feel like that's what's going on. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say
Donnie and Lonnie's not doing that. No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No.
Matter of fact, you said made a comment earlier, old school fishing tactics. And I know that when we talked to Donnie and Lonnie, we talked about some shallow water tactics and some old school stuff too, that was just, kind of like dumbing it down. Like, oh yeah, why weren't we thinking like that? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just like silly stuff, like don't use your motor in less than 8 foot of water or whatever, 6 foot of water, go in on trolling motor and don't spot lock, throw an anchor or put some, down poles out and hold yourself up, don't just scare everything in the area out.
Yeah. When you drop an anchor, they know you're dropping an anchor.
Mm-hmm.
They know. But what helps really, truly, when you get shallow, what helps is if you got a bunch of bass guys running in and out of there. To me, that they're a little bit used to that motor, the big motor. So it plays. You get back in an area that's secluded, nobody's fishing, then you can't. You got to be sneaky.
Yeah.
But that's what we've won a lot of stuff, shallow water fishing, and it just takes patience.
Yeah.
You got to do a lot. What do they say? The fish live in 20% of the water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You got to find that 20%. You just can't go out there and fish in 20 foot of water or 10 foot of water or 5 foot of water and say, well, I'm in 5 foot of water, I'm gonna catch fish. That ain't the way it works. So a lot of people get distracted that way.
So that really is a good question right there that I wanted to ask. And I mean, whether it's tournament fishing, fun fishing, whatever it is, when you put your boat in the water and you take off, what are just some of those things that you are looking for in the water, under the water, out on the banks that makes you turn your head and say, whoa, hang on a second. We got to take a look at this.
I do it every day. Everybody I water or go to, I don't care if I fished it 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
I try to go to that lake and look for something new. And because the fish ain't always where they were.
Right.
And like I said, you go back to educate them. You find new stuff. A lot of people want to go to the same old spot and try to catch them, and they do. They catch them.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, it's going to run out.
Right.
And that's what happens. You keep going to the same spot, you're just gonna get hammered. Where we went and fished that Vicksburg tournament, Donnie and Lonnie, they won it.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Melissa fished separate.
Okay.
I had enough weight to get into the final four, and my live well plug come out twice.
Mm.
And my oxygen hose come loose. So it's like we run 70 something miles to catch these fish. One way, not two way. We run 70 miles 2 ways. So you look at 140 miles of running. But I had issues, and the fish, I had to let them go because they weren't going to make the weigh-in line.
And you weren't the only angler that happened to either.
No, I wasn't the only one. So, but I mean, it's that's the chances you take.
Right.
And what's crazy is I've never had that problem, really.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those fluke things. So we go back to a different tournament, but it's the same area.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 10 boats fishing the same place we was fishing.
Mm.
You gotta. That's kind of where I was at. I'm like, the fish were there, and there was people catching fish, but you just move on. You got to find something new.
Yep.
So that's why every time I go to the lake, I'm looking at something different.
Yeah, I'm kind of bad about that too. I'll stick with what's worked. You know what I mean? That's like, well, I know in these conditions, fish are going to be doing this or fish are going to be doing that. And I'll go scan and look in those same areas that the fish are predictable, just a high probability areas. And, every now and then we'll find something off the wall and be like, man, I didn't realize that was there. And man, I'd never caught fish over here before.
That's it. A lot of people will go back, they'll have a waypoint and they go back and sit on that same waypoint. And, you know, I like I said, I was at a local tournament and I seen 4 people come up to the same spot and fish because they had caught fish there previous. But the fish wasn't there. The fish was over where I was at. And I was catching them and they just pulled up, looked, and then that was it. I was like, you know, what are they doing? They got depth finders. They know, you know, when you run across the area, I guess the key is to anyone listening, if your depth finder says there's no fish there, keep going because there's no fish there.
Yeah.
Just because you caught a fish there last week or yesterday, that they moved. I've been at many tournaments that I could tell you, and Donnie, Lonnie, we all have done it. We've said, if I feel super confident going into a tournament, I won't catch a fish. I'll skunk out or I'll do something crazy because I'm so keyed in to what the fish are doing my depth finder and not what the fish are doing. The fish change every day, so you have to kind of get a plan of what they're doing, where they're moving to, what are they in a transition stage? Is the temperature, the wind, everything plays a factor.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of my online tournaments. I knew I could catch some fish in a spot, and I went there knowing the wind was bad, and I tried every way in the world to catch these fish, but the wind it just did not work. And I knew when I woke up and looked at the weather, I said, I can't fish that. And I was like, yeah, I can fish it. I can make it work.
Yeah. Figure something out.
Yep. And I ended up 3rd, you know, but still. And I come on at the last little bit, catching some fish at the end. But it wasn't cool.
Yeah. I know you didn't struggle much catching fish during the King of the Tennessee tournament, that green belt you got hanging over there.
Oh, no. That's the difference, though. I went to fish. I was serious. Daryl had stirred the pot.
Oh yeah.
So we was up there, and Daryl said, "You know, I'm gonna smoke you, Ray." He said, "We ain't fished together. You're gonna get the brakes beat off of you." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Well, let's go." And so I said, "I'm gonna get me a satellite, and we're gonna see." And he was dogging me, man. He was dogging me. He was like, "How's that satellite gonna work out for you? It don't catch fish. I ain't seen no hooks on it."
I can't imagine Daryl talking trash to anybody. I just
no.
Oh my God.
That's what's so cool about you guys. You know,
that's hilarious.
You can talk trash about each other. No one gets their feelings hurt.
Nah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, every now and then, but nah.
Yeah, but you get over it.
Maybe
yeah. Zach wants to know how shallow a water are you able to get up on these fish without scaring them? With your live scope, are you able to see? You know,
I'll side image those fish. I won't live scope them.
I'll do
that on side imaging. So I'll side image them, and a lot of times you don't even have to side image them. You know, you just see the right scenario, and you know the fish is there. You just throw at him and catch him.
Yeah.
So at what water depth does that change for you then? Say I'm no longer live scoping below this depth.
5 foot. 5 foot.
5
foot. And I'll use the live scope maybe to find a rock or something that the fish is hiding behind. I'll do that.
Yeah.
So I'll scan an area and find him. But you can do it just as easy with what you're going to find out with your live scope is that your live scope shows you stuff that your side imaging doesn't. And I can give you an area. You could go to Pickwick Lake, and there's some crappie beds. And I don't know what they've done with these crappie beds, but I was on Pickwick Lake marking rock, big boulders. Mm-hmm. And I was going to suspend around these big boulders and catch the fish. But I've done it for years. And I really targeted this one area because I knew there was a real good fish. And I come back the next day, and I turned my live scope on. And I was getting right there. I was right there on them, and then all of a sudden I'd have some poles hung up. And I was like, what in the world is going on? And then I started side imaging. I started doing my live scan, and they had built houses for the crappie to live in.
Oh my.
And I knew about these, but I didn't know that they was this far out.
Right.
But these guys, they're divers. They'll take a boat out there with an oxygen tank, and they're going down 30, 40 foot and build crappie beds.
What?
I call them crappie condos is what I call them.
I've heard about those things. I think Toledo Bend has some of those, I believe.
Yep, but it is unreal. And to see how many condos they got underneath the water there, and like I said, what's cool about it is your sonar won't find it, or your side imaging won't find it. The only way I was able to find it was with live scope.
Wow.
So that tells you how much better the live scope is than what we're using.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I can't wait to check it out. I know, like on Zach, with his Humminbird, his side scan on it is impeccable. I mean, it's
that live scope blows it away.
Yeah, well, he went with the Humminbird. What is it? Live, whatever Humminbird is. That's what he's got now.
Yeah,
their version.
I'll tell you this: I was casting to a 70, 80 pounder, casting at him, trying to keep up with him.
Wow.
He was just swimming, and I was chasing him, and I was throwing out at him, trying to get him to bite. So when you're doing that, that's when you're, once you do that, it's over. You won't go back. It's hard to go back to doing anything else.
I don't know if I can afford to get hooked on that.
That's what I'm thinking too. That's what I'm thinking.
But it's changed the sport. It's changed it. It's changed it all.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go fishing. If my live scope won't work, I won't. It ain't even worth going.
Whew. That's a tough statement.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That is a tough statement. But hey,
if you're going fishing for money, you better have a live scope.
Yeah. Yeah, I can get that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah, because like in my case, all I can do is mark them on 2D, set up above them, throw some baits, carpet bomb the area, and cross my fingers that one of them's hungry. But if any of them react different or anything is going on behind me on my baits, I won't know about it.
Nope.
And that's all I can do is cross my fingers at that point.
Right.
That's and I'm not that guy. If you ask Johnny Alani, I'm not that guy. I don't like to drag. I can drag with the best of them. I don't want to drag. I want to find them and catch them.
Yep.
And you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days.
Yeah.
There's a
This
lot
is
of
kind of a feast. Yeah, it's feast and famine.
Right.
It's a lot of self-gratification when you're able to find the fish and catch the fish. It's kind of a game we call, Chris Souders told us that one time. He's like, just find the fish and catch the fish. Don't go just set up on what you find the fish, set up on the fish and then catch the fish and then go find more fish.
Yep.
That's it.
And
if you see me sitting still somewhere, more than likely I already got them. That's all I can tell you. If you see me sitting still, I got them already.
I'll just pull up next to you. Hey, what's going on? Hey, remember me?
Yeah. But the guys I used to fish around the house, and I was running and gunning 20 years ago, before running and gunning was ever talked about.
Yeah.
And I live in one of the best areas in the world to catch catfish at the time was Fort Loudon. Mm-hmm. They wrote articles and articles and articles, and then fishermen about it. And it was so common to catch a 30-pound fish. Like I would go to places traveling, and I'd be like, man, I caught 430s and 450s the other day at one time, like in one afternoon.
Yep.
And people would thought I was just lying. They're like, there's no way you're catching that quality of a fish. And so we had it. And now the pressure has pretty much ruined our lakes and stuff. Thing with bite bar, we don't know if a commercial fishermen have come in and taken the fish or what. But the fish has just disappeared.
Yeah.
And we got Loudon 80 pounds won it, and we was like 79 pounds, and
Wow.
And we got second place. You know, that would, our lake back in the day would be 130, 140 it would take to win.
Right.
And it's come down that much. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look now when the King Cat went down to New Orleans and fished that big tournament. You know, that's the first big catfish tournament that area's had. You know, at least that I know of, and all the attention that it brought. And now on TikTok, YouTube, and everything else, I see all these people coming from way out of state, running down there to New Orleans and going fish, just because of all the attention it got in that one tournament.
I looked it up.
I really hope
today. It's 14 and a half hours for me. I looked it up today to see how long it'd take me to get down there and fish.
I hope Cabela's has over 100 boats in that tournament. I really, truly think they're going to have a tremendous amount. If the economy will hold up, and I really think they'll have 100 boats show up just because it's a bucket list for everybody.
Yeah, and that's
and you can go down there and win. You know, I guess on $100,000. I mean, not 100,000, but I'm sure it'd probably be about at least $10,000 payout, $15,000 payout on 100 boats at least. I would think.
Yeah.
So you can go down there and pay your way pretty easy. But the cool thing is who cares if you win or lose if you go out there and catch 10 to 50 pound fish?
Right.
You know, who cares? I'm more out catching fish.
Yeah.
That's something not many people could say, because that whole fishery down there is like maybe 2 hours south of me, maybe not even that. And those of us local to the area, a lot of us agree that that's actually not the best stretch of the river. It's really good. Don't get me wrong. It's really good, but there's actually a little better water than that. Believe it or not.
Yeah. And that's what's so cool about it.
Yeah.
People have a lot of fun. That's what it's all about. We're all supposed to get together and have fun and, help each other. And that will be a good tournament, I feel like, because everybody's going to be extremely happy.
Oh yeah.
They've all caught fish.
Yeah, there's a lot of fish down there, and when you get to that certain part of the late summer, early fall, you got the saltwater wedge that comes up. That's confining some of these fish in some of these areas, and you can get on a pile of big fish, pretty easily if you know where to look for them.
Well, that goes back to Wheeler. How hard Wheeler gets hit. And I'm still consider myself a lucky fisherman more than anything. I get lucky a lot. And we had a tournament. Mike Mitchell, Mike Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
He was running the Southern Catfish Trail, and they had their classic on Wheeler. I showed up in a bass boat. This is how long ago this was. Now I'm fishing out of a 21-foot bass boat with a 2x4 rod rack on the back. 20, I was probably 25, maybe 25, 26, somewhere in that range. Come in with 100. We had 5 fish, 213 pounds with 5 fish.
Gee.
And I've never fished this lake. I didn't even have a depth finder that worked. My depth finder quit when I put the boat in, it quit.
Wow.
And to tell you how smart I was, I got an anchor. I'm dropping an anchor over the side to see how deep it is instead of a daggone piece of lead. That's how, I was so tore up about my depth finder not working. I was checking the depth with my anchor. And I said, well, it's deep enough. I tied it up, and I had a tree that fell over in the lake. I had those fish caught within an hour. I had 200-something pounds of fish caught in an hour. And I had one fish that I couldn't do anything with.
Wow.
The next year we go back. They have a Cabela's tournament, and we go back and we fish this lake. And I'm with my partner that passed away. We had 2 60s in the boat, and another fish bit. And your worm gear on your Abu Garcia, the braided line wrapped around it just once, and it didn't allow the drag to pull out. He almost broke an ugly stick tiger rod. Heavy, ugly. He had it pulled all the way down to the reel seat.
Wow.
when it broke. So, and there's no telling how big that fish was. But we've been in some spots. James River, same way. I fished the James River 20 years ago, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
You would have to use a whole gizzard shad to even get a chance at a big fish, because the 20-pounders and 30-pounders would eat it up.
What's your go-to bait now?
Whatever they're biting, they change. I use a lot of skipjack. I use a lot of gizzard shad. I don't do the brim much anymore because they're so, but I may go back to that some this year. Using some live brim, but that's mainly it. The big gizzard shad, big skipjack.
Gotcha. That was a question in there. Stan 3 wants to know, what is your favorite rig for a river system with 60-degree water? I'm thinking he's asking for personal information. He's looking for insider tips.
That's awfully specific.
That's a very specific question.
I definitely put a float on it. A Demon Dragon or something. Carolina rig it.
Yeah.
Get it suspended up off the bottom, because those fish are in the mud more than likely, and that way they hang it up there. They like to feed up, and that way to get them up. They're not that. They're kind of laying there waiting. They're just in waiting mode to see something change.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if you're fishing. Let me go back up here. Captain Morgan wants to know if you're fishing the Poland CR April 13th.
Nope, won't be able to make it.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's a local tournament.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Skip, I had one more question about your live scope. We played around with this, so we was wondering what your answer is. Do you have a color scheme that you feel works best for cats? Because we was bouncing around all the color schemes trying to figure out what.
I think it's amber. It's amber. Everything I use is amber. I just like the amber.
Yep,
but there's different color schemes. If he's got to find out what works best for him. Just for me, that's what I'm used to looking at.
I like the copper. Usually the copper is the one that works good for me. But
and it's just different people.
Let me see here. I know we've had a lot of questions. I've tried to catch most of them. More Pigs in the House. What's up, Bill? Thanks for stopping in. He was asking what your favorite method is, which I know you say you like to catch them on anchor, but really if you're using live scope, you're just putting one rod and you're putting it right in front of the face.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I love to catch them anchored. That's what I love to do. I love to catch them anchored. If I can find some good stuff that they're in there that you can't get to them, then you have to anchor up on them. Because sometimes you can't get to them. You got to pull them out. They got to come out to you. So there's two different things. I love the anchor because I love to draw them out. Live scoping is stressful. Anchoring is fun.
I got you.
I'm having a good day if I'm anchoring, but if I'm live scoping, it's a lot of work.
It's all business.
Yep.
I could imagine myself getting very frustrated watching a big fish stare at my bait and then want to just beat my rod against a screen or something like that. It's got to be frustrating to see him do that.
It is. But you got to keep going.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And sometimes you could pull up to that fish, and what's funny is you could pull up there and spot lock on him and catch him. He may not want it moving. He may want it sitting still.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm telling you, there's not a right answer every time.
Right. Every fish is going to be different. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I give you an example. I set up on some fish. We anchored on them, couldn't catch them. We suspended on them, couldn't catch them. Live scoped them, couldn't catch them. I said, these fish are going to bite something. And I give up. So what did I do? I went out past them. I dropped some baits in front of them and caught a 50 and a 65.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I fished on these particular fish for right at 4 hours.
Wow.
And couldn't get them to bite. I done everything I possibly could, and then I give up. And I said, let's try to drag them. And I drug across them, and they bit. So they just wanted it moving. They wanted to chase it down.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Can you see that comment?
What'd he say?
Yeah, Two Stands is saying, when is Ray fishing the live fishing tournament league? And how is Ray going to feel when he gets beat by YouTube anglers in this said tournament?
Well, it's happened. So here's the deal. I've only fished 3 tournaments, and they've smoked me twice. So I don't know what he's talking about. I'm used to getting smoked.
Well, when it comes,
but I do have a belt. I do have a belt that belongs to them.
Oh,
yeah.
ouch.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, it was definitely coming.
You kind of asked for that. Let's see. Somebody else said something about that. Creole.
Kelly's got my custom slicker jigs ready.
Oh boy.
Okay, cool. That's about that time too.
Ray, you're fishing out of a Sea Arc, right?
Yes.
Is that the Dynasty?
No, it's a Pro Guide, 26 foot.
Ooh,
okay.
Nice boat.
I got you. Does the Fountain Boys, they got a Monster Cat?
Yeah, they got Monster Cat.
Okay. Yeah, I
they run a 300. They run a 300 Suzuki. I run a 300 Mercury. So we've got to kind of give you an idea. Our setup on our boats, we've got on a Suzuki, you can't run a lithium battery.
Okay.
So he has to have a lead acid battery, but all my batteries are all lithium.
Okay.
So I've got a 200 amp lithium battery that runs my electronics. I got a 100 and something amp, whatever it is, to start the boat, and then I've got 236 amp batteries, lithium batteries that run just my trolling motor. They're wired up in series.
Okay.
And then I went with another lithium battery to run my satellite. So
that's a lot of batteries.
Yes, but it's all lithium, so it doesn't weigh. It doesn't.
Right.
So to go back, and Johnny's got the same thing that I've got because we made our boats identical, so we wouldn't have an issue. Except his is a Monster Cat, mine's a Sea Arc, but it's still all the same.
Yeah.
But so what we used to do, we would have 6 12-volt batteries to run our trolling motor, and that's a lot of weight.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd have to have two 12-volt batteries just to run your graphs. Then you'd have to have another 12-volt battery to start the boat, because our starting batteries, that's all we use it for, is to start. It doesn't run anything but the motor.
Right.
And you're running all your graphs off that 200 amp hour battery?
Yep.
Even your live scope?
Yep.
No kidding. What name brand is it?
It's a Lithium Pro.
Lithium Pro. Okay.
Yeah, and it may be bigger than that, but I think it's 200. I think it's 200 and something.
Yeah, because Zach's been doing some math on what, his amp draw with what he's got now, and then adding the live scope. And we're like, man, we got to add another battery, because where we're sitting right now, we can only get 10 hours of use out of the graphs if the battery is 100% right out the gate. Yep,
and that's probably about where I'm running. But I charge mine every day, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
But that sounds right. But I have to charge.
Yeah, I just made that upgrade. In fact, I just made the upgrade from all lead acids for my trolling motor to the lithiums, and man, I've been really, really happy with how those lithiums perform. Man, they do great.
Yeah, I think my lead acid are on their last leg. I really can't afford to bite the bullet and go lithium, but now it's way more affordable than it used to be.
Yeah, it is.
I think I can get them cheaper than I paid for these lead acid batteries. I got the Duracell Quantum something AGM batteries.
Those are expensive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's what it takes. So to give you an idea, we had we went to an AGM, I guess. It's a virgin battery, correct?
Mhm.
It's never been recycled.
Right.
I was getting 4 to 5 years out of 6 batteries.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And now they say, they don't know how long they're going to last. The lithiums. But the AGM, it's worth spending the extra money. You don't have to have a lithium battery, but the AGM, I do believe, don't go buy a Walmart battery because it's not going to last but a year.
Right.
And maybe 2 years, because I was wearing them out with warranties. I'd buy the battery with a 2-year warranty, and every 2 years I was trading my batteries in because they wouldn't hold up.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yeah. Battery power.
and I may have a bigger battery back there, and it may have been the 200 amp battery that's running my satellite. So I may have a bigger battery. I'm not for sure.
Yeah. Well, just thinking about how big your graphs are, and then that 22-inch screen, and then the live scopes, they draw a lot.
Yep.
They draw a lot.
Yeah.
My little starter. When I plug it up, we was at Wheeler, and there's a hotel right there by the ramp. I don't know the name of it, but I tripped it.
Really?
I tripped the breakers when I plugged up. People was trying to plug up to where I was at, and I was like, y'all can't plug up to me because I'm drawing. I'm making the meter spin when I plug up.
Burn the bearings in the meter.
Yep.
Yeah, we're trying to put this all together and learn it as we're moving into the more sophisticated graphs and live scopes, and that just the lithium side of things. Just trying to get it all put together. It's a lot. It's a lot to consider, and a lot of variables going into the decisions made.
The key to all of this is time on the water.
Yeah.
You cannot go buy a live scope if you don't fish every weekend. I'm telling you, I wouldn't spend the money on it.
Yeah.
Because you have to stay on the water at least to learn it. It's going to take you, if you fish every weekend, within 6 months, you may figure it out. Because you're going to do stuff and you think you're doing it wrong when you was really doing it right.
Yeah.
You just got to figure it out.
Well, getting on a boat with somebody that's already figured it out would help out a whole bunch.
Yeah, that's nice too.
That changes the learning curve quickly.
Yeah.
And there's guides out there that'll take you and show you, but it's still, you got to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could give you demonstrations, I could show you things, and but I give you too much information, and then boom, you're in left field again.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I got you. So when it comes to consistency, we know you guys, obviously you look on the wall behind you, the plaques in front of you, you're consistent. And what do you feel is the key to your consistency when it comes to putting together a game plan? Do you feel that, you understand fish behavior? Do you understand, barometer? Is there anything that, like, when Ray's getting ready to go out for a tournament, these are the things on his checklist to say, okay, check this, check this, check this. Okay, I need to be doing this, or I need to start here at least.
Water temperature and wind direction. I want to know which way the wind's going to blow, and I want to know what my water temperature is. That's all I need. Time of the year,
Oh yeah.
time of the year, that's a given. But the two things that I look for is the water temperature and which way's the wind blowing. If you can figure that out, that's the key.
Now, when
that's
everything.
When
you talk about wind blowing, you talking about like for the day, or are you talking about days leading up to the fishing event? Like what the plankton's going to be?
All of it.
Yeah.
The wind controls your bait.
Yep.
So, and then you just got to go from there. And then you got to find somewhere to fish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The wind's got to be your friend, in other words. You can't fight him because you won't beat the wind.
Yeah.
Oh man, we've been fishing some terrible wind here lately. It's been kicking our butts
No.
bad.
Yeah.
When I moved to Tennessee, the guys, they just smoked me. I mean, they smoked me for a whole year. And I come from Georgia. The only thing I'd used in Georgia was bluegill to catch catfish. We'd go catfishing. We would catch stripers, and we would catch catfish. Nothing but bluegill. No shad, no nothing. So I come up to Tennessee, and I was in the store one day, and I seen this catfish tournament. I said, man, I got to go do this. I can catch catfish. Man, I'll beat the brakes off these guys. That's all I used was blue. They smoked me on the Tennessee River. I mean, they beat me up. I come in, I'd have 30 pounds. These mothers have 100 pounds. These guys are cheating. What? And they wasn't cheating, but that's the first thing, people come out, oh, that guy's cheating, or that guy's cheating.
Oh, yeah.
And the cool thing about this stuff back here, it's all polygraph.
Right.
Yeah.
So there is no cheating. And they have, but at that time, we wasn't doing that. We was just local guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they beat the brakes off of us. And I went with a guide to learn how to catch skipjack. Now, you would think I would want to go with a guide to learn how to catch catfish. This is a catfish guide. And I told the guy, I said, sir, all I want you to do is show me how to catch a skipjack. I don't need nothing else. He said, have you lost your mind? You just take me to go on a catfish guide trip, and you want to just catch bait. I said, yes, sir, that's all I want. Learn how to catch it. And man, he showed me, and then we was able to get the right bait to catch the fish.
Right.
And he told me this key thing that still sticks today. What I told you earlier, if there's no fish on the graph, keep moving. And we would go and I'd fish these places and I'd catch a fish here and I'd catch a fish there and I'd go right back to that same spot to try to catch that fish. So at the end of the year, they had a classic. And I said, I am not stopping. I was by myself. I said, I'm not stopping until I see fish on my graph.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't start fishing. It started at 7. I didn't fish till 11 o'clock. And at 11 o'clock, within 30 minutes, I won the tournament.
There you go.
Because I actually went, looked for the fish, and caught. And that's 20. We just got colored the graph to tell you how long ago that was. There wasn't even colored. There was a pinpoint. The guy that took me had a pinpoint graph that literally wrote out on paper what he was doing. Like it was, that's what they call it. He had a little roll that it just printed out, so he could keep it for his record. But that's how long ago. I've been doing it a long time.
That's crazy. I couldn't imagine having to read graphs that way or use that type of technology now.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, they just used the round one.
The flasher.
Yes. Yeah, that's all they used. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
I mean, gee whiz.
It's
and
crazy.
What's funny, what's really funny, if you ever look at your graph to the right, well, to my right, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that? That's what that is.
The A scope.
Yeah, that's what you're looking at. Is that flasher?
That is. Yep.
Yeah.
You're looking at a flasher.
Yep.
You know.
Turn it on. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can turn them on and turn them off. I like to run. It depends on what I'm doing, but I like to run it on, especially up front when I'm trying to catch bait, because it tells me what's there like right now. Like I don't have to wait for it really to come across the screen or whatever. It's instant. Yep. I've personally seen no fish on sonar, waited for them to come to me. I'm not doing that unless I'm set up on it, like in a creek mouth or a situation where I know I'm going to ambush fish coming in and out, Yeah.
That's totally different. That's totally different. I agree with that. But we're talking about tournament day. We can't wait. We got to get on that.
Right. Yeah. The clock's ticking. You can't afford because you could sit there all day and nothing passed through. Then what? You ain't got nothing at that point.
But I'm not going to sit there all day.
No.
Oh, God, no. That kills me to sit there. I get beat by a lot of people who just sit still in one spot all day long.
Yep.
I can't do it. I'd go insane.
We've got guys here that do that as well. They just sit on the same spot, and sometimes they pull out a win, but it's not in our blood to sit like that. No. Zach and I are a 20-minute.
Oh no, yeah,
20-minute timer, and that's about it. And unless it's lunchtime, we might give them 30 minutes while we cook lunch. But
there
outside of that, we got to go.
You want to hear something funny?
Absolutely.
So Donnie and Lonnie was down there at that tournament in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
They literally reeled all their poles out of the water to eat.
I remember
to give them time to eat.
They didn't have time to eat. They didn't have time to eat, so they had to pull their poles up to eat.
Oh yeah,
that's what's crazy. That's what people are going to go fish.
That's like I said, it's 14 hours for me, maybe 15. But it's on my bucket list. I got to get down there and do it.
Well, they got a Cabela's tournament. There's no other. I'm telling you right now, it would be beneficial to go when there's that many people there. So if you do have a problem, like say, for example, if you run out of bait or anything could happen, there's someone there that can help you because you are so far away from everybody to get a group of people up to say, hey, look, man, let's just go down there and fish this tournament. You're going to have fun.
There is a group of guys here in Ohio that make that trip down there.
Yep.
That's the way to go.
Convoy.
Oh, Roger just called me. Hey, you got some bait? Yeah, I'll be there in a little while.
When I make it down there, I plan on stopping at Jeremy and fishing for
you. You literally have to pass by my house to go down there. Yeah, you better stop and come get me.
We're just going to stop and pick you up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for Big Fergus, but I can't wait for
you and me both. I'm scared to death and excited all at the same time.
Where can you go?
Thanks for stopping in, buddy.
Where can you go throw $1,700 at $100,000 is what I want to know.
Hey, you got it right there.
Yeah, everybody, and I think there's only like 10 spots left.
There's not many.
Yeah, you better get on that. If anyone can catch fish there, do you agree?
Oh yeah, it's if you kind of halfway know what you're doing, you're gonna catch a fish. I'm not worried about going skunk in that tournament. Catching fish shouldn't be a problem. Now, to catch 170 pounds worth, because I think that's what it's going to take to win it, that might be a different story. But catching
2 days in a row. 2 days in a row.
That's right. 2 days in a row.
Yeah. You got to get through the first 25 first.
Right. Donnie and Lonnie caught 314 pounds of fish in 2 days. Six fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. They caught 169 something the first day, and I forget what the weight was for the second day. We were there live watching the weigh-ins whenever everybody came through for day one.
You know what's funny? I'm going to tell you another funny story now. So, I fished with Melissa. So Melissa is not able to come right off the bat. So I was by myself fishing. Donnie and Lonnie was together. So we put in. I said, "Look, let's put in right here in this area, and let's fish this area. I'm gonna go up. You going down?" They were like, "Yeah, we're going down." I said, "I'm gonna go up." So I got on the fish where I was catching them, and Donnie and them seen me. They said, "Well, we just leave him up there and let him fish a little bit," and then they got tired of waiting on me, and because it was getting time to go.
Yeah,
and. So they swung up there. They come up there next to me. I had 4 suspended poles over. I had a fish on all of them.
Wow.
When they pulled up. And what was funny is they pulled up on one side of the boat and I'm rolling it up and I got one going down in the front of me and they got to the other side of the boat and it was like, he's got fished on this side. But they had literally, what they had done is they'd come up there to tell me to come home, but they had stopped when they saw me, and that's where they caught their 90-pounder. And that's where they went and caught all those fish. They actually was coming to get me.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we'll just let him, we know he's okay, so we're just going to bump this area right through here.
Yeah.
And they bumped down to there, caught a 90.
Wow.
So, but we literally end up fishing across from each other.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a plan. I didn't even know where they were going.
Yeah.
You know, we were fishing against each other, even though we're teammates. They was on their fish, and I'm on my fish. And but we literally ended up fishing across from each other. And what would have been better than that is if we would have got in there and got them. You know, if I was able to keep my fish healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, because that I mean, it was you have to figure it was such an odd circumstance, you know, because the river was record lows and the temperature was record highs, and it's a situation that even us locals don't see very much that river was in. You know, same thing. It was like that in Vicksburg, and same thing down in New Orleans when that tournament was fished. That's not a situation that you see very often, and it kind of created some very unique circumstances that put a lot of fish in certain areas. Curious to see this year what the river does, where it's going to be. I have a feeling it's going to be very different conditions than what everybody fished last year. I'm just curious to see how that's going to play into everything.
Oh, yeah. It'd be what I've learned about the Mississippi. Nothing's ever the same.
No, not at all. It's going to change, and it's going to change. It's going to when it does change, it changes a lot.
Yeah, I've seen fish on the Mississippi check out. I mean, check out. There won't be a fish.
Yep.
You come up to a spot and you're like, there's 20 fish in here. Something hard. Come back the next day and they're gone.
Yeah.
I mean, there ain't even any bait there.
Yep.
They're just check that. And nothing changed. It just went from one day to the next. And I don't know if it's that much of a flow issue or what it is. You know, something just gradually changes and them fish just check out.
Yeah, we see that very often. You know, those of us that fish it a lot, that we're used to that. The fish are very mobile. And they will move. Sometimes they'll move 20 feet. They may be 20 foot towards the seam, 20 foot away from it, back of the hole, front of the hole, because you've seen it yourself. These features on the river are huge. There's features on that river that are acres. So you could spend all day if you wanted to fishing one scour hole and just keep jogging around and hitting it. You know, it's crazy some of the things you see on that river.
Oh yeah, and you often see a whole oak tree come down through there.
Yep, that's right.
With a root ball that take your boat out. You never know. That's depending on what time of the year it is.
Right.
That's what we're looking at right now. With they're canceling tournaments this weekend because the Ohio River's getting way nasty right now with all this rain.
Yeah.
Ray, what trolling motor do you run?
Garmin.
A Garmin.
Yep.
How you like it?
Yes, I love that.
It takes a lot to learn it. It's something that's not that you just don't pick it up and take off with it.
Really?
It's very precise. And you understand you don't need a trolling motor to be that precise, but they try to have it exact.
Okay.
It runs. It's super on power though. Like I've got a lot of power. Like I can pull my boat. I think it'd go about almost 4 miles an hour.
Oh wow!
A 26-foot boat.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't. The funny thing is they don't say that like how much power it puts out. They just say it's a Garmin trolling motor, but you can run it on like 36 volt and 12 volt.
Okay.
Really?
And I run mine on 36.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about the Kraken trolling motors. I can't afford to switch over until this one dies.
Yeah.
I got a Trove and it's a tank.
And Garmin is really cool about taking care of their product. Donnie had a 16-inch screen, a Garmin. I busted it because we was taking it off the boat. Didn't have locks on it. I'd take it off the boat, put it back on the boat.
Yeah.
And I was in Ohio, I think, somewhere in Ohio, and there was a lot of algae growing on the bank. Man, I hit that algae and throw that Garmin about 10 foot up in there, and it busted in all kinds of pieces. Went out there and killed the trolling motor the same day. Went out there and smoked the trolling motor, knocked the belt off of it, and he showed up at the tournament. I was like, dude, we got a busted trolling motor and a busted graph. It was like looking at your phone, you know, because the sheet screen was just shattered.
Yeah.
And we went and got a new trolling motor and put the graph on, busted up, and used it. I called Garmin, and they were like, well, we're going to send you another one and send that one back to us free of charge.
What?
So you can't beat that. Yeah. Free of freaking charge. You ain't gonna beat that. That's why I won't go with anything else. You know, Garmin, I got some graphs that was out of warranty and Garmin took care of. I can't say they're gonna do that for everybody,
Right.
but they took care of my stuff. So
Nice.
I think one of them 12-inch graphs are like $4,000.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't give them away.
No. The 86 series, and what's funny is they don't ever update them. Like, I mean, they update them, but it's not something new. You know, the 86 is the 86,
Right.
and they're so far out there.
Right.
I'm not familiar with the 86 series.
They use it a lot in the ocean. It's just
Right.
it's like the true HD screen.
I got you. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
and Garmin has their own glass. Like they have Garmin glasses, what the guys call it, the bass guys, and their Garmin glass. It's just different. People say, I have people say they're $2,000 or $3,000 graphs. You can't tell the difference. But I'm telling you right now, all the bass guys, if you look what they run an 86 series, and they're paying for those graphs. They're not getting them. Garmin will give them their echo maps and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Right.
But you got to buy an 8600.
Right.
They won't give it away.
Wow.
At least that's what I've heard.
Brian B. Dominic will be on my channel Saturday. Oh yeah, we got the Uno tournament coming up Saturday night.
I'm out. I don't fish in the dark.
Me
You don't fish in the
either.
dark?
Too freaking old, dude. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go fishing. Y'all still be out there at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, I could fish 24 hours. I can fish. I fished longer than that before on live stream.
We was fishing at Santee Cooper, my buddies. They went out, and this is before we knew what we was doing. We didn't even have a clue. We still don't know what we're doing. But we was out there, and they had spent the night on the boat. And you know how you run the Santee rig with a float?
Right.
Well, they put it on the wrong side. You know, the way we used to run it, and you could do it. Now I run it with a 3-way swivel, and I lock my weight down. But before, you could have a swivel, and then, you know, your bait would float up.
Yeah.
So these bugs stopped, anchored, and their boats, their bait floated to the top of the water. So they were sitting there, and they was asleep, and all of a sudden they heard this, you know, the sun started coming up. They heard this, like the bait runner took off. And it quit. So the guy was like, he was rubbing his eyes. He's like, dang, I think I just got a bite. And about that time, that sucker just took off. And all of a sudden, he locked it down, and the line started coming out of the water. A seagull done come down and got his bait.
Oh.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh man.
So, hey, it works.
Yeah.
You know, he was seagull fishing, but it woke him up anyway.
I bet it did.
But Santee used to have tournaments like that. They would fish 24 hours.
Yeah.
36 hours, I think.
Some of these online tournaments, like that couple that Kevin's got, they call the Ironman tournaments. This is basically last man standing. You might be fishing for 3 days.
Yeah. So I can't, that's too much for me. I get, if you go at it hard, somebody asked me one day, they said that, do you ever go fun fishing? I said, it's all fun fishing.
Yeah.
It's just the difference for fun for me is I'm going to see how many fish I can catch. Not, you know, I'm not going to catch a 50-pound. You're going to bump into one, you know, but I want to go catch fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it definitely takes some planning and some strategy. You can't go. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It is.
We have some plans in line for some of these tournaments and whatnot. But I seen Brian said I'm on Kevin's channel. Yeah, I looked at the channel lineup. I'm like, man, you got me on the channel with freaking Stand 3, Pontoon Jody. You got me stacked up against all these. I'm screwed.
Old Pontoon Jody, she don't play around. She'll get them sometimes. Yeah.
She's catching a 50 every time she goes out the door right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. We probably will not be able to fish the river because of the condition it's
Yeah.
heading right now. So the backup plan is Hoover Reservoir, so we might be fishing Hoover on Saturday night. So
Okay.
we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Zach's
Yep.
not big on night fishing either. Never has been, but we're definitely wanting to get into some more flathead fishing this year. So we might fish a couple more nights than we normally do.
But you live on the Mississippi, right?
No, I live on
Nobody
the
knows the fish. No,
No, I do.
yeah, he lives on the Mississippi. You don't want to fish the Mississippi in the dark.
No. Well, number one is too dangerous, and number two, I have fished at night. We used to. I can't catch any good fish at night. All of my big fish come in the middle of the day. I've caught more 50s and over at noon than I have at any other time of the day.
Yep, I can tell you why, but I'm not. I can tell you why you're doing that.
Okay, why is that? I'd love to know, because I have no idea.
No, I ain't gonna tell you. I got to fish against you. But it's the same scenario. All I can tell you do is think about what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
You catch more fish in the middle of the day than you do at night. There's a reason.
Well, because
there's something changing. What's changing?
The predators in your water.
Yeah.
You got sharks, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
you got alligators.
And alligators and sharks.
Well, actually, on the Mississippi itself, there are no alligators because they hate that current. They won't go anywhere near it. But the bull sharks, yes, that does affect things. But the thing is, this is a year-round thing for us. This isn't just for one season when the bull sharks are there. All year, every year for the past 5 years, middle of the day is now your bite slows down, but that's when the big fish bite. You know, numbers slow down, quality goes up the more you go in a day. And it's not just me. All the guys that fish locally around here, they all say the same thing. So it's not something necessarily that I'm doing. It's something about the area that's doing that. And I've yet to quite figure it out.
Look at your little fish. When you're around little fish, you don't have the tendency to catch big fish.
Right.
So what happens is your little fish eat first, and then they'll just lay down there and just lay down. They can't eat anything. And then the big fish, you throw something out there in front of them, and you're making it easy. All he's got to do is slide over there and bite it, and it's over.
Yep. Because
so
we've had that happen to us so many times that we've been set up, fun fishing, set up catching numbers, 10s, 20s, 25s, just, kind of hitting good numbers. Then all of a sudden, like a light switch, the bite will turn off. There's nothing. And then 10, 15 minutes, just nothing. Then all of a sudden, a rod will just bury. And that's the big one. That's the 50, 60, 70, whatever.
So when I pull up an anchor, that's what I look for. I want to see every one of my rods get hit.
Yeah.
And then I want it to stop.
Mm-hmm.
If it stops, he's there.
Yeah.
Because he will eat whatever's pecking at mine. So they got to get what they can and they run.
Right.
Because he's coming by and I've caught, you would die, but I've caught fish. I've caught blue cats with a head as big as my hand and a 15-pound fish in their mouth. With a catfish. I don't know how many, you hear people catching 2 fish on, but I've done it more than once. And I don't even know how he got the bait in his mouth.
Yeah, Roger, y'all just let that happen.
Yeah, literally the catfish was stuck in his mouth.
Yep.
Yeah, we just caught a 53 flathead this last week, and he had a 3, 4, 5 pound drum in his mouth, and he ate a big chunk of white bass.
Yep.
And he was still trying to digest the drum that he had in his throat.
We're talking about catfish. I'm saying the blue cats had ate another blue cat.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they had ate another blue cat and still ate my skipjack head.
Yeah, we've seen that as well. Channel cat or another blue cat and in their mouth.
Yeah, well, you can about imagine our surprise to get some big takedowns, get lines cut. All of a sudden, you finally get a fish to the boat, and it's a dang 4-foot bull shark.
I don't know if Bob's still in here, but do you know if King Cat is allowing guides this year to go out with people before a tournament? So Brian Stryker is asking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think they've ever allowed that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about it, so I can't speak on it.
Yeah. What's funny is people we have guys that will come to us, like on the body of water, like we'll be fishing somewhere and a guy come over to Donnie, Lonnie, or whoever, and they'll start talking to us. They want to know what we're doing.
Yeah.
They don't want to know what, they don't want to come off no information. They may tell you where some bait's at, but they want to know how we're catching them. I had a guy before the show. He called me from Santee Cooper. He said, "Hey man, what do you got any ideas about this?" And and we talked for a good 20 minutes. And this is an old timer over there. So there's a lot of information that gets shared. But I don't think a guide helps you if you did go out before a tournament. I mean, what do y'all think?
I think the thing is, I guess in my opinion, if you're confident in your abilities of finding fish, then I think you'll be okay without one. If you got to depend on a guide to show you where the fish are, well, fish change in 24, 48 hours. Everything he showed you may be gone anyway. So it's kind of, to me, it's kind of, if you're putting all your faith in that guide and you have no knowledge other than that, I say that's dangerous.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't see, and I would fish against people like that. I don't see that there's a problem with it. Say, for example, if you got a guy that just traveled, say he's fishing the Ohio River, and you need, you're going to the Mississippi River, and he's never been on the Mississippi River. Wouldn't that be a good idea to say, hey, you need to go with someone to kind of show you what's going on here?
Yeah, to show you the river, maybe not show you where the fish is at.
Yes,
just to show you around.
Just to show you around.
Right.
That's where people, it goes back to the money. They think they got an advantage over someone. And just because you fish with a guide, ask Mike Mitchell.
If you want to learn about fishing, you hang out at the weigh-ins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You hang out at the weigh-ins and talk to folks. Yep. You don't have to be the winners. You don't have to be, whatever. But, after the tournament's over, people are willing to talk about, what was working and what wasn't working.
Yeah.
If you're truly into it for the right reasons, you want to know the whys. You don't need to know where.
Yep.
You just need to know
the why is the key.
Right.
Because I had a friend ask me last year who was fishing Vicksburg and never asked me where the fish were, but he's like, "Hey, I know you live there. What's in this area? Like, are there deep holes? Is there this? What's the bottom look like? Is this?" And and it was an area that I knew. I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Here, there's this, there's this, there's this, there's this. This is kind of what it looks like. Low river. Watch out for this. Just basic stuff that Google Earth ain't going to show you that because and Navionics is useless. Just to know what's under the water around there.
Yeah, that's the key. You go to Santee Cooper. Have you ever fished Santee Cooper?
Oh no, I haven't.
So very dangerous lake.
Stumps.
Yeah, you got stumps, shallow water, and wind. If you get at the dam at the wrong time in the wrong wind, you're not going to make it back. You're going to have to go beach your boat somewhere.
Right.
If you jump on Wheeler with the wrong wind, or really anywhere on the Tennessee River when you have current or wrong wind, that's where it comes to, when you go fish these tournaments and you travel, there's got to be people out there, and we try to be good stewards of that. We try to step up in the meetings and say, hey guys, if you've never done this, be careful here, because we know. I tell people all the time, if you're a black scamp and that flag's sticking straight out, don't go out there.
Yeah.
There ain't no sense. There ain't a fish out there worth fishing the canal.
Yeah.
Don't go out there on that main lake.
Yeah. I mean, look what we were talking earlier about those wing dams, below Vicksburg. I know for a fact that nobody's map is going to show those wing dams. There's no way everybody's software is going to update that fast because the process hadn't gone through the core yet. to update their stuff. We just built it. So nobody's going to know they're there. And that could be dangerous before daylight.
Oh, yeah. And that's another thing. I don't like these tournaments blasting off before daylight.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that's cool. Me personally, I don't want to be on the Mississippi River at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to get somewhere.
I fish it, and I'm not going to do it. I'll tell you right now, I don't care if I'm the last one that leaves that boat ramp. I'm waiting until I can see.
Yeah,
that's
too much out there.
Yeah, that I know what's out there, and I ain't doing it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Austin. Sharing information with everybody, it's a different ball game when your paycheck's on the line.
Yeah.
You got to understand, we don't do it for the money.
Yeah.
We just do it for that green belt. That green belt means a lot to me right now.
Oh man, I love it.
That's what's the key. Yeah, you may win $10,000. Money comes and goes. That green belt's right here. Yeah, it ain't going anywhere. Someone's got to come take it from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they are putting me at a disadvantage because they want me to fish tonight. So that's another little deal. So they keep changing things.
Funny how that works, huh?
Yeah. They say, well, we don't want to give him. We got to take him out of his element.
Yeah.
Let's fish at night.
Yeah.
So we're going to see if I can hold on to it.
Yep. There's a lot of crazy rules in the online tournament world. Some of these tournaments are just like this tournament this Saturday night, Uno tournament. You might not even catch a fish and you can win it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Because of how crazy the rules are. It's based just to have fun. It's not going to show who's the best angler. It's not going to be. No. It's a game of luck, really.
Yeah. And I've said it so many times that these online tournaments, the live tournaments, it's a lot more about body of water versus body of water than it is angler versus angler, to be honest with you. People, you're either at an advantage or disadvantage depending on where your home waters are.
Yeah, it's hard for us to compete on the Ohio River. We give it a go. Right. We stay pretty competitive for what we're given down here.
Mm-hmm.
But in the big scheme of things, Ohio River's not going to hang with the Mississippi or the James River or the Tennessee River 90% of the time. Every now and then we can upset some folks, but for the most part.
I don't know now. It depends on where you're fishing at on the Ohio. Where are you fishing?
I'm fishing about an hour and a half, 2 hours above Cincinnati.
You froze.
Cincinnati's where I busted that graph.
Oh,
you can catch them there. You can catch them there if the conditions are right. Your conditions you got to make sure that frickin' commercial fishermen ain't out there wearing you out.
Oh, we got that everywhere.
Yeah, I think we're going to fish the Cumberland, and I think they've actually raped the Cumberland River.
Yeah.
They got these big silver aluminum boats.
Oh yeah.
And Amish guys, they're Amish or something, Mennonites or something, but they're down there. They've got some boats that are like 30 foot long. I don't even know how they get them down the road.
Yeah.
But they're definitely catching fish.
Yeah.
And I think they're catching them carp, but I'm thinking they're catching the catfish too in their nets.
Yeah.
Because
they're starting to catch Asian carp around here. Commercial fishermen told me that they're shipping them somewhere now. They're starting to catch them. I'm like, yes, take them all, get them out of there.
Yeah.
They had never get them all, but I'd love to see it.
Well, guys, we got to get things wrapped up, man. I just realized it's almost 10 o'clock. We've been
rolling.
We knew we could do it. Hey, we hung out at CatCon. We stayed up till way later than this talking about fishing. It's easy to do.
And what did I tell y'all? I had to go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, dude, we cooked, we had fun, and then y'all wanted to talk, and then Steve sat down and he wanted to talk, and we just kept going. And I was like, hey, y'all, we got to go. I got to go to bed.
Yeah.
Finally, I just stood up and I said, good night. I'm done with y'all.
Yeah, we had to do the same thing. Well, listen, we do have a hot spotlight for you guys tonight, put together by Kelly again.
Yep.
And so we're going to end up closing this thing out. But Ray, it was awesome hanging out with you. There was a lot of
Absolutely.
comments in chat saying thank you for all the information tonight. Just selflessly sharing, your knowledge and all the things that time and money you've spent on the water, and you just give it away to somebody that's willing to listen. So truly
Absolutely.
appreciate your time, man.
Hey, if anyone ever sees me out, just come over. I'll help you. I'll tell you that if Melissa will tell you, I will tell you where the fish are. All you got to do is go catch them.
Well, I'll remember that when I see you in the water in Vicksburg. I'll just come right on over to the boat. Hey, where the fish are at?
I think
I'll tell you. Hey, I won't. Listen, it's all about catching fish.
Oh, yeah.
To me, the money is not there's. You cannot. That $100,000 tournament, I'll still be in the hole.
Oh.
You're never gonna get out. If you fish, you will never make enough money fishing. I promise you.
That's what they say. If you want to learn how to become a millionaire at fishing, first you start as a billionaire.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna spend and spend and spend and spend.
Yep.
That's right.
Because there's always new technology. There's always a new fishing pole. And when we was doing this, we just used whatever we had.
Yeah.
And meat hunter rods was the first catfish rod that I'd really ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And me and him talked, super guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling him what the fish was, what I could do with the pole. And he was like, yeah. And so it's now you got the ambles, you got it just never ends.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little bit better.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it just keeps changing. I seen some new B&M rods out the other day.
I heard about those.
Yeah, they're catching up. And they're catching on that, you got to have different rods.
Right.
One rod's not going to get it done.
Right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're going to close that out with a spotlight. Thanks again, Ray. We will see you guys here next Tuesday night. Same cat time, same cat channel. Good night, everybody.
Appreciate everybody.
All right, we'll see you.
This is the emergency broadcast system. The CDC is advising that you stay in your homes.
We show up. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody.
We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party.
We show up in the party. We show up in the party. We show up.